Who's ready to party? Make some noise! Yeah! Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review season 5 of the hit show on Netflix called Elite. So Elite is one of my favorite shows to watch. I even have their shirt. I have binge watched every single season from season 1 all the way up to season 5. But for some reason, after watching season 5, I was kind of left with a bittersweet taste in my mouth. I wasn't sure if the season was good or if the season was bad. Why do I say that? Is because I feel like the writing of the show is getting just a tad bit lazy and a tad bit repetitive with the whole murder mystery specific aspect of the show, because at first it was fun to see, like, okay, let's see, somebody got killed. Oh, Marina got killed. Let's find out who killed her and what happened to lead up to that. The second season, something similar. Third season, something similar. Fourth season, okay, something similar. But like, we're already at season 5 of the show. How many more times are we going to continue rinsing and repeating the same pattern? I mean, are we going to continue doing this for season 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, possibly 11? Are we going to just continue the same pattern? I don't want it to always be the same thing and become predictable. I don't want to go into the show like, oh, okay, let's see what happens this time around. Oh, look, there's another body. Oh, look, there's a body in the pool. Oh, we already know how this goes. The interrogation is going to happen. Nobody's going to get caught, and we're just going to continue the cycle for the next season. And I just don't want it to get repetitive because, again, I'm a huge fan of the show, and I just don't want that flame that ignited my interest at the very beginning of the season, of the series, to die down over time. So they need to keep it fresh, and I like that they add new characters. I know that the audience, some of the audience members, they can't handle having new characters. They still want the characters from the season 1, season 2, season 3, and they can't let go of them, but I can let go of them because I appreciated them on the show, and I can appreciate the new characters as well, as long as they bring something new and something fresh. But again, this whole murder mystery aspect of the show is just like, if anything, it's getting a little bit concerning because do the parents not see any type of red flags at the school? Like, okay, my child is going to go to the school every other day or every other semester, and somebody's constantly dying. Like, oh, hey, Billy, how was school? How was school today, Billy? Oh, you know, Mom, I was just interrogated by like 50 cops. So somebody died in the locker room and they ended up in the pool. It's no big deal. I'm going to go upstairs and study. I have a huge test tomorrow. Okay, sweetie, just be careful, okay? Yeah, dinner's going to be done soon. Which brings up another issue. We're already at season 5, and these inspectors and these officers have yet to do their job correctly. I mean, you're going against high school students, and they continuously fool you into believing that none of them are murderers. They're like, how are none of them ever found guilty of anything? And I really missed that one officer from season 1, the woman officer. I believe she was a officer on the show up to season 3. She probably got tired of everybody at the school, and she was probably like, you know what? No, I'm not. You're giving me another report, another murder at the school? No. You could keep it. Give it to somebody else. I'm retiring, actually. Fuck this. They already raised my blood pressure at a high already. I already smoked like 2 packs of cigarettes already every single day at that school. No. I'm not stressing myself out trying to guess who killed who at that school. I miss her. She was so serious and she never got her job done correctly. Or maybe that's why they probably gave her the boot. She never got down to the bottom of anything. But these inspectors are just like, so did you do it? And they're like, no, we didn't. Okay, I believe you. We're going to talk to somebody else. Like, no. We start the whole season off with a body in a pool, and they're floating in their own blood. And at first, I thought it was going to be Omar, because the back of their head, it looked like it was going to be Omar. And spoiler alert, it ends up being Samuel. And I was shocked about that. And like I said, I must give credit to them because I can never guess, no matter how many clues they throw at us, I can never guess the outcome of the show at the very end of the finale. Like, they give us little hints here and there of how it's going to play out. But for me, maybe I'm just dumb. Or maybe it's just me. I'm not sure if this is just a me thing. But I can never piece all the pieces together to form a puzzle to try to figure out, okay, how is this plot gonna work out? Or like, this is becoming a little bit too much, or like, what's going on? Or how do we get from point A to point B? And eventually, in the end, it all comes together. And it makes sense. So that's something I like about the show, and that's not predictable. It's almost kind of like the Saw series, the Saw movies, where there's so many things going on in one movie, but then by the end, it all connects to one thing. So that's something I really do enjoy about the show. We have a new character by the name of Ivan, and he develops a friendship with Patrick, who's gay. And I was looking at their friendship form. I'm like, is Ivan gay? Does he also want Patrick? But then as they continue talking, he tells Patrick like, no, I'm straight. I just want to be friends with you. We're just like like best friends. There's nothing more here. It's just me and you. That's it. It's nothing physical, nothing sexual, nothing. It's just me and you are going to be friends. And what I found interesting was when they were in the shower, or when they were about to get in the shower, he just pulls his pants down in front of Patrick like, oh yeah, thank you for showing me around the school. I'm like, no, like that is not how we thank people. I mean, some of us do. I mean, I'm not sure. You could get down with whatever you get down with. But I was shocked. I'm like, what kind of school is this? But okay, I mean, I was trying to figure out, was Ivan bisexual, or was he gay, or was he just pretending or denying something? Because he kept giving Patrick rope like, okay, I'm going to give you enough rope for you to come to me. But he's one of those guys that he probably knows that he's attractive. He knows that people are going to flaunt to him. And he's probably like, oh, I just want attention, no matter from what gender or what sex it comes from. And he even latched onto Patrick's sister, Ari. And I'm just like, oh, Ivan, no. Like, now we're doing siblings? Absolutely not. And I really thought at some point, we were going to get a threesome between Patrick, Ari, and Ivan. And I'm like, can we not do the whole sibling threesome thing? Like, let's not do that, because I know that Elite, they're notorious for having threesomes on this show. So I wouldn't have put it past them. But eventually, it was episode 5, I believe, where we kind of got a little bit more of Ivan. He was kind of, frustrated because he wanted Patrick in a way, but at the same time, he's like, no, I really don't want you. And Patrick, he was just so emotional. He was just like, you keep playing with my emotions. Like, I want you, and I want you, and I need you, and I want to do X, Y, and Z with you, but you keep playing me. Because all season up to episode 5, Ivan kept playing Patrick. And even at the party, I believe it was at the second episode, where they had this huge orgy party at the club. And I'm like, what kind of club is this? Like, where's my invitation? Like, I would have been there at the corner with my drink, like, like, it was crazy. Everybody was just making out with everybody. And Ivan, he made out with Samuel, another straight guy on the show. And Patrick was upset. He was just like, well, why are you not making out with me? You're making out with him, but you should be making out with me. But again, by episode 5, Ivan kind of went along with his emotions and his feelings. And he just kind of was just like, Patrick, let's sit down and I think they were watching the P Word, Corn. They were watching Corn, if you get my hint. And they were watching straight Corn. And eventually Patrick was just like, why are we doing this? Like, you're straight. What are we doing?
Ivan.
He was just kind of feeling on him. He was just like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think this is hot. You're hot. This whole situation is hot. And I'm just like, I'm hot too at this point. Like, I needed like 3 cold showers after watching this series, because I'm like, wow, this is a lot. Where's my holy water? But it was cute. But the other wrench that was thrown in their relationship, or their friendship, was Ivan's dad. Ivan's dad is this huge soccer player, or famous soccer player, whatever. And he's also like, he's one of those cool dads, I guess you would call it, where he wants to be friends with the young people. And he parties and does all this, and he doesn't ever really want to grow up, I suppose. But he has like this attraction to Patrick as well. And this is something that I thought was odd as well. I mean, we faced it last season with Mencia and Armando, but I believe they're all the entire cast is under 18. Like, they're all like 16 or 15, I'm assuming, even though their actual actor or actress they're not. They're much older. I think they're in their 20s. But for Patrick to mess around with the dad, who's this grown-ass man, I thought that was odd. I'm like, so nobody finds this weird? Like, everybody's just like, oh, okay, like, it's okay. Ivan, he found it okay. I mean, he didn't find it okay, but eventually he was just like, no, if both of you want to be together or whatever, leave me out of it. And I'm just like, it's getting kind of weird. Like, let's change the plot quickly. But Patrick, he messed around with his dad as well. Because Ivan, he was messing around with his sister. Even if, oh my, this just sounds like a mess. Like, the way I'm speaking about it. If you watch the show, you'll get it. But if you don't, I don't know what to tell you. But eventually, Patrick and Ivan, they have this night together where it was probably one of the best gay sex scenes that I've watched. It was just so sensual, so passionate. The music behind it was so beautiful. I like that Patrick was just like, don't be scared, because I believe Ivan, he was trying to give him the... but he kept using teeth, and then he was just like, no, it's fine. Stop using your teeth. Let me just take control of it or whatever. And then this is another thing that I was shocked about. They started eating ass on this show. I'm like, oh, so this is what we're doing with the new season. Okay, I mean, let me shut the fuck up from what I said at the beginning of this video from being predictable, because I didn't see that coming. I'm like, wow, we're eating ass on this show. Okay, I approve of it. I like it. Because Patrick was doing it to him. He was like, oh, this is the first time I've ever done anything with a guy. And again, Patrick was just so sensual with everything. He was just so relaxing and soothing with Ivan. Ivan eventually, they eventually end up, doing X, Y, and Z. And it was just a really nice moment between them, which I also found interesting because I thought Patrick was going to be with Omar. Because at the beginning, on the first episode, we see Omar and Patrick being, intimate with each other. So I thought that was going to go somewhere. I'm glad it didn't because Omar, honestly, I liked him every other season. But this season, as well with Samuel, both of them are kind of annoying. I'm kind of tired of seeing both of them just like always looking like two lost sad puppies. Like, go somewhere else. Like, come on now. Like, we need to get down to the murder or something. But I actually enjoyed this new character of Ivan because he showed us a new side to this show. Like, you don't have to always have a label to whatever you're attracted to. Like, he was obviously attracted to Ari, but then he became attracted to Patrick and he was scared of it. And eventually he just kind of threw himself at him. And Patrick was just like, let me help you with this. And here we are, eating ass. So I did appreciate his character and I hope he comes back for next season and we see the development between him and Patrick because maybe they'll form a relationship and maybe they'll have a title to something that they have between them or whatever. But hopefully Ivan's dad just disappears because that would be kind of awkward to, if they did start dating, like, oh, Patrick, come over to my house. Like, we're going to watch a movie. Oh, yeah, my dad is here too. Remember him? You slept with him last year? Like, that would be a little awkward. But regardless, I did enjoy Ivan's character. We get another new character by the name of Isadora. And she's this rich empress. At least that's her title. And I believe she's a DJ. I'm not really sure what she does. She's never really had a home, she says. She's always lived hotel to hotel because her parents just leave her there and she's just kind of left with money and a bunch of substances. And she has this obsession with Coca-Cola, if you get my hint. But she has this obsession with that. And she also has an unhealthy obsession with Philip, the other character that we were introduced to, I believe, last season, who was in a relationship with Cayetana, but they broke up because he sexually assaulted her. And her thing is she's kind of like in this love triangle with Cayetana and Philip. She is throwing herself at Philip. She wants him to want her back so badly, but he is too busy trying to get with Cayetana. And Cayetana, she still works at the Encinas. She's still mopping floors. And she just doesn't know if she wants to get back with Philip. She's like, I'm not sure if I could really get over the fact that you sexually assaulted me in your limo last season. I'm not sure. Meanwhile, she also has to compete with Isadora. And Isadora, she's trying to clean up his image and she's trying to prove to everybody at the school that he is not this sexual assaulter that he was before, that he's changed, he's not the same person anymore. And that's her whole thing. But again, he just doesn't see it for her. I believe he also throws it in her face that, yeah, you do too many drugs and I just can't be with you. And I'm just like, well, isn't that ironic? You're calling her this and she's trying to protect you and stuff. And she's trying to really be there for you and trying to clean your image up. And your image is not squeaky clean, yet he's throwing that in her face. So again, the two wrongs don't make a right, Philip. But that's her whole thing. She's trying to get everybody on his good side. Meanwhile, she's trying to get him to fall in love with her. And again, like I said, she's like this famous DJ, not a famous DJ, but a popular DJ. Her whole personality was kind of like around what Paris Hilton is, like this huge DJ that she DJs in Ibiza. And speaking of Ibiza, she goes outside because Philip just hurt her feelings by telling her like, oh, I don't want to be with you. You do too many substances, too many drugs, so please get away from me. She goes outside after three guys also ask her, oh, do you think that you could give us tickets to the festival that you're also headlining at in Ibiza? And she's like, yeah, of course. Like, just give me a minute. So she goes outside to find Ivan, the other new character. And she's like, you know what? Well, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to take all four of you and we're going to head out to Ibiza. And I'm just like, what? Like, so we just get to skip class and just head out to Ibiza like it's nothing. Must be nice, but she takes all four of them over there. They're all partying. She's DJing. She's putting everything on Instagram stories because, everybody on the show is obsessed with putting everything on social media. And I'm just like, wow, I mean, Instagram in America would never. They would take all these fucking videos down in a heartbeat. Like, is that a drug? Absolutely not. We're reporting this. We're taking your whole entire page down. But eventually they go back to her suite. Her master suite is this huge room. They're all partying. Her, the three guys, and Ivan. They're all on a bunch of substances. They're all drunk, I believe. And they're all putting this on video. And some of them are, I think one of the guys, he was recording the whole entire experience. Philip, he notices that she's taking substances on her Instagram story. So he flies out from the Encinas all the way to Ibiza. And I'm just like, so we're just flying out like it's nothing. Again, it must be nice. But he gets there a little bit, not too late, but he gets there and she's shocked by it because she's like, oh wow, like you're here. Meanwhile, she is so high on who knows what. And he's just like, wow, seriously? Like, Issa, what's going on here? And she's like, well, if you come into my suite and you do these drugs with me, I promise that I'll change. This will be the last time. That was his mistake because he goes in there, he does every substance with Ivan, the three guys, and Isadora. Eventually, she knocks out and she collapses on the bed. He also collapses next to Ivan. He's kind of like drifting, like he's kind of conscious, but he's not. Ivan, he's kind of seeing everything play out too. Like he's kind of standing up, but he's also about to fall over. The three guys then go over to Isadora and they see her laying on the bed. And this was very uncomfortable to watch. They shot this whole thing very realistic in a way because the music, the tone, everything about it just shifted. It all became so dark. It was very sad to watch. It was very realistic. Because again, there are trash bags like this who do take advantage of people who are knocked out like this without their consent, and they start sexually assaulting her on camera on top of that. Like they're recording this. Ivan, he's standing there and he's trying to like get over there to stop it, but then he falls over because again, he's high. Philip is also high. He's kind of seeing what's going on too, but then he collapses as well. Then the next day when they get back home, they're all just like not talking to each other, and they're like, oh, Philip and Ivan are asking her like, so Issa, like what happened? Like, is everything okay? Did anything happen? And Isadora, at first I thought she genuinely believed that nothing happened, but then she's just like, no, nothing happened. Everything is fine. As she walks away, she is like crying because she knows that something happened, especially when she gets to the shower and then she starts bleeding from her private parts. She's like, she knows that something happened, something's wrong. And then the three guys, they're all like happy about it. They're all chuckling. Eventually, Ivan and Philip, they confront them and they're like, what the hell happened? Like, what's going on? And then one of the guys, sick, nasty guy, he shows them the video of everything that they did to her on the camera phone. And they're like, wow, you sick. I believe it was Philip that punched him in the face. And the guy's just like, what's wrong? Like, she told us to get undressed. We were all undressed. We were just having a good time. Like, why are you attacking me? And I'm just like, where's the common sense here? But again, there are people like that in this world, sadly, with such a sick mentality. And Philip, again, trying to clean up his image because he knows what it feels like to be in that guy's shoes because he also sexually assaulted Cayetana last season. And he has a history of doing that. He's just like, no, that's not right. That's not cool. You don't do that. So eventually, Cayetana, she goes over to Issa, who's in the shower, and Isadora, she's crying on the floor and bleeding at the same time. Cayetana's trying to be a friend to her because all season they had this long rivalry between them, like trying to fight over Philip. Cayetana's trying to get over on her. Isadora's trying to like just belittle Cayetana just because she cleans everything at the Encinas and she has money. She thinks that she could just talk to her any type of way. And I really appreciated Cayetana's character growth in this season. Like, she was just so understanding, so, much nicer. I mean, she was always nice, but I just like that she wasn't petty about it with the whole Isadora situation. Like, she still reached out to her in a genuine way. But Isadora was just like, no, I don't want to talk about it with you. Nothing happened. Because she feels like if she tells Cayetana anything that really what went down in Ibiza, she feels like Cayetana is just going to use that as ammo to throw it in her face and to make fun of her and to be like, oh, ha, you see, I won one over you. Even though I'm poor and you're rich, I'm better than you because I'm not stupid. That's what she thinks that Cayetana would do, but Cayetana wouldn't do that. She was genuinely being there for her. She was going to give her a shoulder to cry on. But again, Isadora, eventually at the very end, I believe the season finale, we see her finally go to the police with Philip, and she admits that yes, she was sexually assaulted, and we leave it there. So I'm assuming that rolls over to next season, and hopefully those three pigs, they go to jail or something happens to them. But I did enjoy Isadora's character. I really did. I thought she was actually going to be like Carla number 2, Carla, the original Carla from season 1, but she kind of gave me some of her, but kind of a new character at the same time. But regardless, I did enjoy her character. We continue with Rebecca and Mencia's relationship, but it's kind of rocky and unstable, especially after all the events of last season. They're not really on talking terms. Like, they are, but they're not. One episode they're good, the next episode they're not. The one episode they want to be in love, the next they want to be apart from each other. Rebecca, eventually she starts like talking to somebody else. She's like, oh, Mencia, I'm going to give you an ultimatum, and that's going to be that. I'm going to go talk to this girl. So eventually Mencia sees them making out. She doesn't really like it, but she's not really saying much about it. Like, she's playing hard to get, but she's playing too hard to get because Rebecca, again, she's with somebody else. Eventually, that girl that Rebecca was with, she confronts Mencia, and she's like, oh, I mean, if you tried to get between me and Rebecca, I'm probably gonna whoop your ass. That's what she was basically saying. And she was just like, oh, I'm going to expose you for the shitty person that you are to her if you try to get in between us. So please stay away from us. Mind you that the girl she was drunk while she was talking and saying all of this to her. So as she's walking away, Mencia, She grabs her phone and she throws it at the girl, and the girl, she turns around because the phone misses her and she was just all wobbly. So eventually she walks away. The phone is smashed on the floor. So Mencia, she goes over to pick it up because they're all at this event, and it's a charity event, and the dad, he's somewhere around, like her dad is somewhere around. She goes and picks up the phone and she takes out this little chip that was on the phone, and she's like, what is this? She connects it to her laptop and she finds like, a bunch of information. She finds I believe a phone number, and she calls it, and it ends up being the phone line to her dad's phone. And the dad, he's looking at the phone like, wait, what's going on? Because the real secret here is that little chip was planted in Mencia's phone from Armando, who's floating in the lake somewhere right now. So, Mencia's just like, wait, what's going on? And I know the dad is probably looking at his phone like, wait, Armando is missing. Like, what's going on? Because in in Mencia's dad's eyes, Benjamin, in Benjamin's eyes, he feels like Armando is missing and he's, gone rogue. So he doesn't know where he's at. So he's probably like, why is he calling me? Like, what's going on? So he picks up and Mencia sees him answering. She gets scared because she's like, what's going on here? Like, what kind of dirty business moves has my dad and Armando been doing? We also find out that Benjamin was scared because Armando was kind of blackmailing him with his business and his shady moves. And they were kind of in cahoots with all this cricket business to try to get money. So Benjamin was trying to, keep it on the low with that. He wasn't trying to have that exposed. So Mencia, going back to Mencia and Rebecca, eventually they get back together in a way, kind of, but not really. Like they're left on good terms, at least, I think, because at the very end, when everything gets exposed, Benjamin, he goes to jail and Samuel allegedly dies. Rebecca and Omar, they were left at the very, very end of the show, crying in the rain and stuff, and they look over, and then everybody has pointed this out online that Rebecca, she winks over at Mencia, or she winks at somebody, and people think that means something. I'm not sure. What do y'all think? I feel like maybe she knows something, or maybe there's more to something. I mean, maybe Samuel is alive. I'm not sure, but I don't know where the relationship lies, especially now that Rebecca, she's kind of like in cahoots with Omar as well, because they brought up the whole body again, because Omar, he found the body of Armando in the lake, and what does he do? He goes in the actual lake to go retrieve it, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Your prints are going to be all over this, and people are going to be thinking that you're the one that threw the body there. You're just trying to cover it up. So he tells Samuel, Rebecca, all three of them are trying to cover this up. They're like, well, what are we going to do about this body? Like, should we throw it back in the lake? They try to do it, but he's too heavy. Eventually, they tell the cops. The cops get involved, and that's why Samuel gets investigated, and Samuel ends up, dead, allegedly, in the end. And speaking of Samuel, his relationship with Ari was also on rocky terms. I mean, he was faithful in the relationship, but Ari was not. She was cheating on Samuel for Ivan, the other new character, who ended up with her brother. This sounds insane, y'all. This sounds crazy. But Samuel, he never got the hint until later on, where it was all kind of exposed that, yeah, he found out that she was messing around with Ivan behind his back, and all he wanted was loyalty. But at the same time, he was with her to try to impress the dad, Benjamin, because he knew that if he was in Benjamin's good graces, that Benjamin will like give him money to try to get scholarships, to try to give him a better life. And he was also trying to protect him and Guzman as well, who again, Guzman is probably somewhere in Europe living his best life in a jacuzzi. Meanwhile, you're over here trying to take a fault for something that he did last season. Like, I don't get that either. I mean, Guzman, how can you like live with the guilt of like killing somebody and then trying to cover it up and just I don't know. I don't see how that's possible, but I guess some people could do it. But that's what Samuel's purpose is. He's trying to cover up for Guzman, and he's trying to take the fault for it, because he tells the cops, I'm the one that killed Armando. I did it. So Benjamin, he kind of also betrays him by telling him, oh, if you say that you're guilty and you go to jail, I'll bail you out. So what does he do? He goes to jail, and Benjamin is just like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I never said I was going to bail you out. Like, he went back on his word, and I think that's what gave the ammo to Ari, Patrick, and Mencia, his children, to go against him and to not really defend him, because they were really against him. And they were like, Dad, you just betrayed my boyfriend. Like, well, even though I betrayed him by cheating on him and sleeping with another guy, you betrayed him as well. So this whole family is just a whole family of betrayals and a bunch of people that betray each other. But Ari, she just wants to be by herself, I think. She wants to be with Samuel, but again, she wants to be with Ivan. Eventually, she's like, well, wait, he wants to be with my brother, so I guess I'm going to have to stick with Samuel. But her emotions are just never really like in place. Like I don't think she's the type of person that wants to be in a relationship with just one person, because even last season she was battling that. She was with Guzman, she was with Samuel, and she just kept, playing tennis with both of them. And now she's doing the same thing with Ivan and Samuel. So maybe that's just gonna be a pattern for her to continue next season. I think that you just need to be by yourself, Ari. Like, just take a nice summer by yourself, have a hot girl summer, do whatever you want with whoever you want, and just leave it at that. You don't have to, go breaking hearts and get in relationships with people that that you're probably gonna be unfaithful to, and just call it a day. Live life like that. You're young, it's fine. Go and get away with murder next season, because that's probably gonna be a thing anyway. So that's that. But Samuel, eventually, like I said earlier, I'm getting tired of him just always looking sad the entire season. Like he doesn't really contribute anything. I really noticed that once they removed Guzman from his life, he doesn't really have anything else to offer. I'm like, allegedly, supposedly, him and Omar are not coming back for next season. I think Rebecca as well, like the actress and the actors that play their characters, I don't think they're coming back for next season. Hopefully that's the case, because I think Samuel kind of ran his course. I mean, he doesn't really have any much to do besides get cheated on by Ari. Eventually, he gets out of jail. He meets up with Benjamin, because Benjamin is trying to take the little chip away, because he doesn't want his shady business with Armando to get exposed. And he knows that that Rebecca, I believe it was Rebecca, she got it from Mencia. Mencia gave it to her, gave the little chip that she found on the phone to Rebecca, and Rebecca gave it to Samuel. So Samuel, what other idiotic thing he does? He goes over to Benjamin's house for a one-on-one meeting. And I'm like, why would you do that? You know that this man is probably going to do anything in his power to protect himself. And that means probably trying to kill you. So eventually they get into a little scuffle. And he's just like, no, you know what? I'm leaving. There's no price of money for me to give you this chip. And I'm like, Samuel, are you sure? Because, I mean, this man is rich. You sure you don't want to just take like $1 million and just give him the chip and call it a day? Like, I would have been like, okay, sir, just give me $3 million, then I'll just pretend like you never did anything. But eventually they get into a scuffle by the pool. And then this is how we find out how Samuel's body ends up in the pool, a bloody mess, because he trips over his backpack. And as he falls to the ground, he hits his head against the cement next to the pool. So it becomes bloody. And I believe his body just rolls over into the pool, or Benjamin pushes him or something like that. But Benjamin, he's just so shocked. He's like, wait, what happened? What's going on? So, I mean, he technically didn't kill him, or he technically didn't do it, but then he did try to cover it up. So I guess that did make him look guilty, because I think he was going to try to do something regardless of whatever Samuel was doing, because Samuel was walking away from him with the chip. So I'm pretty sure Benjamin would have done anything to protect himself, his life, and his innocence in all this situation. So I'm pretty sure he probably would have tried to kill him or drown him in one way or another. But the reason why we find out is because Patrick, who was supposed to be on a date with Ivan and his father, but he was mad at that whole situation. So he comes back home and he sees everything plays out. And the dad is just like, Patrick, you need to protect me. Like, I'm your dad. Like, me and you we're kind of reestablishing our relationship, because all season, both of them, they also kind of bumped heads. So now they're kind of in a good place. So Patrick, he feels bad. And he's just like, well, okay, fine. I want to be in a good place with you. So I'm going to try to help you. So the dad is just like, okay, help me out by trying to bury this or cover everything up. Samuel, he gets out of the pool. And I think he's still conscious, because as Patrick is trying to carry him over to the bushes, he makes a noise. And Patrick is like, Samuel, are you alive? Like, what's going on here? Samuel is just like, yeah, no, I'm still here. Like, your dad tried to kill me or whatever. Like, let me just get up. Like, give me a couple seconds. Eventually, I believe Rebecca, she gets a phone call from somebody, I believe, with Omar. And they're like, we all need to go to Benjamin's house because Samuel is over there. And I just feel like something fishy's going on. So they all head over there with Ari and Mencia. And they all see everything play out. Mencia is looking at the pool like, why is there a bunch of blood here? Samuel is over there. Rebecca is getting so mad. She rushes over and she punches Benjamin in the face. Benjamin is just like, this is all an accident. Like, I can explain it. But Samuel, he's conscious. So he tells them, like, yeah, it was Benjamin who did this to me. And they're all shocked. It was lightning everywhere. It's storming everywhere. Eventually, the cops get called and Benjamin gets arrested for Samuel's alleged murder, because I believe Samuel goes right back to unconsciousness. And I don't know if he dies, because they never really show his body again or anything. They just show everybody's reaction, because Patrick, he falls on the floor as if, he's the main character here. And he starts crying. And then I believe it was Ivan. He comes out of nowhere. He runs over and they start hugging. I'm like, okay, this is cute and all, but can we get back to Samuel? Like, he's dying over there. You two could be cute later. You could eat his ass after this. But Mencia and Ari, they're crying in each other's arms as well. And then that's when we see Omar and Rebecca walking away with each other. And Rebecca, she winks. And I'm not sure if it was just like maybe she got dirt in her eye or a fly flew in her eye, or maybe the rain was too strong or something, but she winks over. And again, people are trying to analyze that as if it means something more. Who knows? Maybe it does, but then they turn around and that's how the season ends. And I'm like, that's it. I mean, I guess they give us a cliffhanger every season, but I mean, I don't know. It was just so like, that's it. I mean, it was just very what's the word? Anticlimactic. I was about to say climax. Anticlimactic. It was that. It was just kind of okay. Like, it was an okay ending. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst, I guess. But out of all 5 seasons, I feel like this season was the weakest one, in my opinion. I mean, it was literally just drugs, partying, and sex 24/7. I mean, every season, they really do amp it up every single time. I mean, last season was already at a 10, and then this season we were at a 20. And I don't usually mind, but, again, I just want to see a different storyline for next season. So I'm assuming next season, because I think they already filmed season 6. They have a whole new cast coming in. I believe it's 5 new characters. They have them coming in next season. So I wonder how that's going to play out. But I wonder if it's going to continue with Samuel and Benjamin. Like, are we going to talk about that? Or is Samuel going to be in a coma? Is he still alive? I'm not sure. What do y'all think? Or what would y'all want for season 6, 7, and so on? Or should they just end the show, period? I hope not, because I love the show. I would love to see the show continue for like 20 seasons. I don't care. I take everything back I said at the very beginning. If you want to do a murder mystery every single season, it's okay. I'm going to be right here with my clown makeup on and everything, and my clown hair and everything, watching every single episode regardless. But regardless, y'all, I really enjoyed the season. It was okay. It was good. I wasn't too crazy about it. I did like the new characters of Ivan and Isadora, and hopefully we see more development with them later on. Again, like I said, I'm not sure if Omar and Samuel and Rebecca are going to be back, but if they're not, I'm willing to let them go as well and get into the new characters, because the new characters, they seem interesting from their portraits. So I'm excited to see what's next for Elite. Let me know what y'all thought about this whole season and who's your favorite character down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, y'all. Mwah. And stay away from the Las Encinas. Don't put your children in that school, because look what happens. Bye. Mwah.